Ha! What up, YouTube? It's me, Kevin. So, I don't know if you're familiar with Mossy Oak, but it is a major brand. They do camo apparel. If you go to your local Walmart, no matter where you live, if you go to the outdoor section, they sell Mossy Oak. Mossy Oak just happens to be right here in my hometown. And they seen a sticker on the side of my vehicle and asked if I could embroider hats. I said yes. The thing with major companies like that is it has to be flawless. So that's not a problem at all. That's the reason they get to where they are. And you should strive to be as good as they are or better. So if you want to know how to make a perfect hat and embroider it flawless, stick around. So once you figure out what size logo you're putting on there, you want to print your logo off with some crosshairs. So I use Corel Draw, but whatever you have, just make sure that the crosshairs are in the dead center of your logo. Now, figure out where on the cap you want it to be, and take a needle and hit that crosshair. And I just want to remove my logo, and that is where I want my embroiderer machine to start. I'm going to take a marker, which is washable and made for fabric, and then mark it. Now I can take my needle out. Now you know that this is going to be your center spot every time for every cap. The way that we make sure that this mark is exact every time, there's this depth gauge, sewing depth gauge. This you definitely need. You need a couple of these. It will slide up and down, and what you do with this is put it on the cap and then move this little needle deal down to where the cap is. So now you have a perfect mark exactly where it needs to be every time. Now the thing with this depth gauge is that it does not need to move. So once you figure out the depth, you want to take some painter's tape and tape this down as much as you can to where that does not move. And when you go to use your clamp, there are teeth that aren't designed to go on the brim, and then you have the teeth that are designed to go on the brim. Make sure the teeth that are designed to go on the brim stay on the brim, and the ones that are designed to go on the outside don't go on the brim. Take the backing and kind of fold it, just bend it a good bit, and this will kind of contour it to where it needs to be on there. This is a pretty nice little hack, so you don't have to tape it down every time. I know the taping gets annoying. I've been there. The distance between this, where you hooped it, and the hooping station need to be exactly the same. So that's where another depth gauge comes in that you haven't taped up. Put it up against the hooping station and slide it down until it touches where you hooped it. Now, this should be exactly the same as that over there. If it's not the same, you will have to take the clamp off, adjust your cap, or you can do some adjustments on the station itself. But if it's not exactly the same on both sides, then it's going to sew crooked on the cap. Another tip is to take that 2-inch painter's tape and tape your bill. When you start embroidering and it goes back and forth, as it gets close to the edge, it's going to touch ever so slightly on your bill, and you don't want to scratch your bill up. You won't like it, and neither will your customer. So a couple things. Yes, I do use backing. Not 100% necessary in structured caps, but it definitely helps out the bobbin. On unstructured caps, I would use 2 backings. Let me rephrase that. I use 2 backings for the unstructured caps every time to give more structure for the bobbin. A couple tools you'll need along this way is a pair of scissors, because you're obviously going to have some thread breaks. And to get that thread on the back side, I recommend using some angled tweezers. I don't know. I'll leave a link in the description. But pink, you know? Why pink? Because you know if somebody runs off with your stuff, because nobody else around here has a pair of pink tweezers. And you're ready for October. Once it's on needle number 1, I can press the laser button to see where my design lays up with my mark. Now I know that this has some deflection in it, so it's not flat. So what I want this laser to be a little bit shy to the center. I want it to be off to the right a little. And I'm gonna watch needle number 1 to see if it hits dead center. Note, if you do have thread in needle number 1, it'll pull it out every time. So I kind of leave needle number 1 empty. That's how I embroider caps, whether it's for a major company or for a small construction company down the road. Now, one little tip is to order extras, because you will mess up. You're human, I'm human. I'm not gonna make every one of these perfect. There are a handful of steps, but to be proficient at making hats, it's a must. I'll leave a link in the description for everything that I've used. But if I didn't, ask me in the comments and I'll tell you where I got it from. And if you haven't subscribed, that would be great. For those of y'all who are subscribed, thank you so much. Your comments and everything are much appreciated. And until next time, peace! Yeah. Recording. Here we are at the hooping station. Focus. There. I don't even know how to explain it. Mossy oak outdoor. I don't know if they're even outdoor. Now I want to take another depth gauge and throw it on the ground. I hope that made sense. I don't know how to explain it.